Hello, good morning, and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne, and disembodied hands, Quindy, along with her devoted servants, Justin and John. I'm just imagining them as your pool boys. Quindy, does that work? Hello, good morning. And I see we have a lot of subs. One second. Let me find all of you. There you are. We have Oren Nightingale. Thank you for 28 months on a 4-month streak. Nice. Dogfather, the ever loyal Dogfather, much like your doggles. 33 months. Very cool with the Prime sub. And Chef of Love, hey, long time no see. With the Prime for 28 months, or at least long time no chat. So yeah. Yeah. I was just, see, now I'm going to tear up. Carnico, darn you. I warned Quindy I'm going to have to cry on stream. David told me not to wear mascara, but I ignored him, probably to my eternal defeat. But anyway, for those who did not know, Ed Pugh passed away on Thursday. Thanksgiving was bad. I didn't find out about it until Saturday when Ron texted me. Yeah, I wanted to stream. I mean, I like hanging out with you guys. Even if I'm in a ball. Who cares, right? Yeah. Yep. I wasn't aware that he'd been battling it for a little while, but yeah, it has been a rough week, man. Sorry. So yeah, if I get mascara smeared all over my face, like it's all Kroniko's fault. Blame her. You're good, Kuro. I was going to bring it up early in the stream anyway, because that's usually when the loyalists are on, right? Yeah. He was like, yeah, I said this on the Patreon, but he was like my second dad. Hey, he was my boss for most of my Reaper career. Like, when I first came on, I think Dave was my boss for like half a year, and then Ron was my boss for like 2 years, and then Ed took over, and Ed was my boss for then on. Ed was the first one who hired me. He took care of me and set me up with an apartment when I moved down. Ed spent his life taking care of other people. So yeah. Yeah, you did, Quindy. Yeah, I don't mind crying to you guys. Although, let's look at the Mousling, too. You're going to have to stare at my face when it gets blotchy and all that crap. You can still stare at my face getting blotchy if you really want to, but the Mousling is far more attractive. And not crying. But yeah. Yeah, huge loss, guys, for the gaming and miniatures community in general. Ed was a visionary, and he really cared about people. And that's rare in this world, in the business world. Yeah, I hope so too, but I think we're going to have to recover a bit before we go there, Agent Marvel. Unless Weeby's already on it. You know how Jason is. Jason just goes for it when he feels it, which is respectable. I mean, I respect that a lot. Yeah. Yeah, long time, right, Julie? But yeah, he was like my cool other dad who ran a miniatures company and used to be in a rock band, right? Ed used to drum in a band, by the way, when he and Dave were younger. In case you guys didn't know, he actually taught me to drum when I was, I think it was within the first couple of years when I was at Reaper, I found out that he used to drum, and I'd always wanted to learn, so he actually had me over for a couple of nights and just taught me the basics. Sat in his garage with his drum sets, playing drumming along to the Beatles, because he was like one of the easiest things to drum along with is the Beatles, so you should learn to the Beatles. Yeah, that's Weeby, Nomad Zeke. Yes. He always was willing to spend time, and he liked spending time with the community. Twisted Noma. Yep, all the mascara. Yeah, David was right. I shouldn't have put mascara on. It's just going to come right back off. Ugh. All right. Well, my eyeballs look pale and undefined, guys. You can blame Ed. Yeah, exactly. Not common for companies. No, Ed was one of a kind, guys. Like, serious loss for the whole miniatures community. Oh, would have to include a Camaro. No, we called it the midlife Chrysler. When Ed got his kit car, it was the midlife Chrysler. Yes. So, and I don't know if there's been any official announcements yet about anything other than his passing. So, the real reason for painting eyes last. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? He enjoyed engaging with you guys. The midlife Chrysler is more clever, I think, because it doesn't spell it out, Nomad Zeke. It just implies it. Hi, Red Leg. Sorry, we're talking about Ed, if you didn't hear that he passed away. Which is why I'm sitting here bawling while we talk. But that's okay. Oh, yeah. Ed really liked James and Kathy. He really enjoyed them. And I wasn't surprised at all. All right, let's get some paint mixed up while we talk about this. Yeah, I wanted to announce it on the video because I know a lot of you are, even though it's been, if you go to Reaper's website, it's on the front page, and on the forum, and I assume it was put on Facebook, but I haven't looked. We're slowly getting it around there, but yeah. So Ed passed, and the miniatures world is poorer. I need shadows, Death Knight, and Night Sky. And I have all this crap sitting on top of my paint. What is this? I can tell I haven't run this show for 5 days. It was a nice break, but could have done without losing somebody I cared about. All right, let's get all that stuff over there. And now I have to find my Night Sky Indigo. There it is. Okay, John copied it to the other socials. That's what I figured. It wasn't up when Ron told me, and it had only been posted a couple places when I found out. So, yeah, I mean, it just proves, guys, you never know. Like, live your life to the fullest and hug all the people you love. Because, yeah, Ed was pretty young, so. And take care of yourselves, too. Do as best you can. I mean, we can't, guard against everything, but, I'm always encouraging you guys to, be healthy and find the diet that works for you and, move and stretch and all that. It's because I want y'all to stick around. Yeah, good, Cornico. Excellent. Hey, Otter Mama. Thanks for the sub. Sorry for the weepy faces. We're talking about Ed. 38 months. Nice. Yeah. And that was the thing about Ed. Ed didn't really have any enemies in the miniatures community. Everybody knew him, and even the people who maybe were just they still respected him, right? I think, Ed didn't shit on other people, pardon my French, but he was a good person. So I'm going to mix up a shadow, guys, just so we can actually get painting. We can still talk, though. Helps to talk. Night Sky and Death Knight, I think, is what I was playing with. So making the shadow color, we just need to put some cool highlights on the fur and on the cape. We did the NMM for the most part, and then we need to do the little, do the flagstones. So let's actually get this in focus. Sorry, gotta get more. Gotta get my eyeballs in focus by taking the water out of them. But yeah, Ed and I still talked from time to time. Like every once in a while, we'd have a call. And I miss him. Yeah. So I'm going to use this and some Death Knight Black, I think, for my... So we've been using Night Sky Indigo all along for kind of a shadow color. It's a very pretty, it's a very twilight color, as you can see, which is why it makes such a good kind of cool reflected light kind of source. I think I was using a little bit of blue, too. I need to get my glasses on and actually take a look at the color. Yeah. Ed was like... Ed was the first and only boss I ever had where I could like tell him to fuck himself and he'd just look at me and laugh. Like that was our relationship. Because sometimes, you know, things would get tense or there'd be a huge deadline and some impossible thing would come down the pipe and I would just be like, Ed, fuck you. And he would be like, pardon the F-bombs. I know I don't normally drop them on the show, but darn it, it's in character for Ed. And he would just laugh at me and you know, we'd manage somehow. But like that was our employee boss relationship. It's like we could say anything to each other. But yeah, it's and I don't know if you guys know this about Ed. I've got all these little things about Ed I can talk about now. But Ed also liked to write. He actually, you know, he liked to write just for fun. He wasn't looking to get like big published or anything. But we would talk about writing a lot in the later-ish years when we were just chatting here and there. And I'm really sad that you'll never see my book published. Because he was really encouraging. He was probably like... Probably one of the most encouraging people in my life about it. Ooh. There's my Death Knight Black. So this is the other shadow color. Yeah. I reserve the right to drop enough F-bombs to honor Ed today, guys. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. I would expect a hiatus in Reaper Live. I would. I don't know if it'll be on this week. If I were around and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Expect a grieving period, guys. And they may not want to face questions yet. And I wouldn't blame them. So, you know, give Reaper time. Kiki is squeaking her squeaker in the other room. I gave her a squeaky lizard toy, and now she's like, I'm going to sit here and squeak this. And maybe Mom will come out eventually. But yeah, so that's where I am today. I did most of my crying on Saturday night, but it's just rough. It's just rough, guys. Yeah, Ed was just real, is what it comes down to, right? He didn't edit himself, and he was honestly sincere in enjoying spending time with you guys in the community and enjoying his job. Oh, you know. Hey there, Hagar. We're talking about Ed. if you didn't hear, for people who are just signing on, if you didn't hear, Reaper CEO Ed Pugh passed away on Thursday. It was not really expected. That's saying it lightly. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to stream. I mean, I'm here because talking to you guys about it helps me, right? It helps us process. I texted him, Dogfather, because I texted Dave because Ron told me that I could text him to pass on my condolences. I did not expect a response. I did not get one. I expect that it'll be a while. Dave's face is tough guy face, but Dave's inside is heart of gold, and so I expect Dave is yeah. Don't expect to hear from Dave for a while. Thanks watching from, yeah. Well, I mean, I figured it was the least I could do because I've talked about Ed on stream before and how much I respect him and how much he's given to just the community and just to people in general. And like what is his vision, like the understanding of the industry that he had was just amazing. You don't have to sit and watch me cry all day, but that's all right. No, but this does help. I mean, it does. It helps to, and I don't mind being the first face on, right, to do this. I don't mind it, and I don't even mind all my mascara going away. So when my eyes disappear, guys, you'll know. But yeah, and a lot of you, like, you don't have friends around, like, who are into it, who know Ed, and so this helps you too. And yeah, we're all just gonna, this is the wake. This is the, like, if we could have some scotch, like, we could do a proper wake, or I guess Irish whiskey is proper. But yes, friends don't let friends drink and paint, so we're just not gonna go there. Even if I'm, like, terribly snotty and weepy, thanks for the sympathy freestyle. That's all right. As long as you don't mind me blowing my nose all stream, we're all good. But yeah, I knew it was going to be like this, and I decided to do it anyway. I mean, like I'm not Ed's oldest friend at Reaper, right? Because definitely Ron and his brother Dave are primary there, but I'm one of the older ones. And he was my boss, so we talked a lot. We just talked about crap in general. He was always... No, Manzi, you're funny. Yeah, it's a little early for that. You call him focus juice. Whatever it takes, Dogfather. Whatever it takes. But, the coolest thing about Ed is that, like, I could just walk into his office with some crazy idea or some random thought about the industry, not even my department, just about this or that or some company that we'd been talking about or seeing, like, implode or something, whatever. And we would just stop and we'd have a conversation about it, right? He wasn't ever the kind of boss to be like, shouldn't you be doing something else? Or, like, well, that's really none of your business, or it's not your department. It doesn't matter. Like, he would sit and he would entertain suggestions. He hired a lot of alphas. He always said that he wanted to be surrounded by alphas, even though it meant people got into it with each other. So he wanted to hire leaders. He wanted to hire people who were idealistic and who had ideas and who would execute and who, wanted to run things. And even though that meant sometimes people butted heads, he wanted that personality. And so he encouraged that. He encouraged creativity and creative thinking and crossing the lines and, stuff like that. So yeah. I just have to have, like, Irish cream flavoring or something in my coffee. That would be the only thing I could have. Hey, Roger, thank you. Thank you for the resub. Sorry for the teary eyes. We're talking about Ed today while we are working on the cool shading on this Mousling, the cool light source. And I'm going to grab my, so I've got some Death Knight Black and some Night Sky Indigo that I've mixed about 1 to 4. And then I'm going to take some of that and mix in some white so I can create a highlight for this. I am going to need to remix my green to do the highlights on this cloak, however. So I'm going to have to grab some of that. But yeah, Roger, if you do not know, Ed passed away on Thursday, unexpectedly. Ed was also good for having a positive mindset. Let me see, let me back up a little bit and mix some colors. Yeah. I think I had a little more blue in there, though. As I recall, I might have grabbed some tropical or some glacier. I think I grabbed some glacier blue. I'm going to put that in there because that was a little bit too purple with the night sky, as I recall. Too much binder in that. But yeah, Ed was exactly the boss I needed at the time that I found Reaper. Like, I got to do so many different things for Reaper. So many, like, bucket list things. I got to wear a lot of hats, which always makes me happy. There we go. That's a little bit better. You want something a little bit more blue. You want a little purple in it for cooling purposes, for that twilight feel, but you want it more blue than purple. So I added a little bit of Glacier Blue 9420. And that's about where I want to be, I think. I want to look at that. Yeah, I think maybe even a little bit more blue. As far as what I did on here. There, we'll do one more drop of Glacier and see what that looks like. I think it's going to look more like it. Yeah, there we go. All right. Then pop some of that over here. Drop some more white in it. Yeah, we just spent the whole, if you just got on Thormel, we just spent the whole start of the stream talking about it. And we'll mix that up. We don't need a lot of it. Morning Daffodweir. Yep, we're, as I just mentioned, the Thormel. We are talking about Ed for those. I know there more people are coming in moment by moment. Reaper lost its CEO and our dear friend Ed on Thursday. Still feel like I need a little more blue in that. And you can really see, this is how I've mentioned before, that if you're not sure what percentage of a color, like if you have a dark color and you're not sure like whether it's more green or blue, or whether it's more purple or blue, whether it's more red or purple, adding white will bring out the colors. And so you can see that this is really quite purple still. So I'm going to drop another drop of Glacier Blue in there. There we go. Now I'm more in the neighborhood I want. And I feel like that's actually pretty good. I don't want my highlight to be too light. All right. And now I need that green, which is going to be Naga and Leaf Bud with a bit of Night Sky in there. So let's grab our greens. And we mixed these guys. Paragon of the miniatures industry. All right, let's pop some water in there. And then a bit of this, the Night Sky that I have over here. We'll pop that in there too. need to essentially bring this green back around that I used, and then we'll be highlighting it with this. So I want to have both colors live on my palette. And actually I did also put a little bit of Ergothoa red in there, I think. Yes, I did. Just a touch. Just a tiny touch. But yeah, we're all misled. Like, he was just a savvy guy. He was a smart and savvy guy who cared about people. And who pretty much, you know, did what he executed on what he wanted for his life, right? Like, he was an accountant like Dave, like their dad, you know, and he decided to go on a tangent that involved starting a miniatures company, and it grew into like the biggest thing in his life. We put a little bit of Ergothoa in here, and it's putting red into green is going to dim the green down and darken it. And I'll put a little bit of the night sky in there, which also has the purple in it, so it's going to cool it down. And as you can see, the green here is still much darker than that, so that means we need a lot more of the red and the night sky. Now that's starting to really bring it down. And the reason that we are doing these colors to create this green shadow color, and you can hear me talk about this if you go back and watch the original streams on the Mousling here, but in portraiture, in realistic portraiture painting, and in canvas painting in general, if you're looking to create a realistic shadow for a color, then you want to mix two things in. One is a complementary color to the color you're working with, so that's why we're mixing in Ergothoa, or red, into this green. The other thing we want to do is mix in the complement of the light source, and the light source is yellow and orange, and so we are using a purple and blue with the night sky to go into there. And you add those two colors until you get a shadow. Obviously you want to use darker versions of those colors usually. So once I've got that down in the neighborhood of where I had it applied to the cloak here, and I've got my swatch that I did originally, so I can take this and put it right next to that and find out if I'm really close. I don't have to be perfect. I don't need to exactly match the color. I just have to be close. Let me get my brush. But yeah, I don't think anybody understood the miniatures industry like Ed. Like, I've said this before numerous times on this stream, but Ed had an amazing, through being in the miniatures industry here in the US for so long, he had an amazing grasp of it. Like, he could see when a company was going to get into trouble before that company, when that company was still on the rise. he had gone through it all himself, and so he understood it. Hey, Sentimental, thank you for the raid. We're talking about Ed today. Our CEO, who passed away on Thursday. So I'm painting and talking and crying a little. Although mostly I think I cried earlier, so hopefully we can desist with the crying part of the show from from this point forward. So yeah, if you didn't hear Sentimental, Ed passed away. Which I think, I don't know, you guys at Paint Club probably met him in passing. That's pretty close. It's still a little lively for this color, but you know what? I could go with it. Yeah, unexpectedly, he had a heart infection, and it got really bad at the end. Hey, Merlin. Welcome to the stream. We're doing some some OSL and some. Now I'm doing the cool highlights on the back of the Mousling. We're also talking about Ed Pugh, our Reaper CEO, who passed away unexpectedly on Thursday. So it's kind of a gathering of friends and fans to talk about that. So I've mixed up my green for the cloak here, and I've got my shadow cool color, highlight. Yeah, it is. He was my boss for many, many years. I've worked. Oh Lord, this coming year, April, is my 20-year anniversary with Reaper, and Ed has been my boss for like 17 of those years. My boss and my friend. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually bring in a little bit more of this green. I got to look at the opposite, right? Opposite the light source, and see, because that's where my color is going to be. And it's mostly coming from like more below. It's more of an ambient bounce light. So I need to see, like, it's on this side of the cloak that it's mostly going to pick up the light. So I'm going to do a mix. You can also you can underpaint and glaze this over. I like to do a mix for a lot of colors. I think it gives you the real effect. Sometimes you can just thin it and paint over. That'll give you the same effect. Yeah. Yeah, I never thought I'd stay at a company for 20 years. That's for sure, Marlon. Back when I was a young thing, right? Like, that was something my parents did, or my grandparents or parents did. Being Generation X, that's the generation that really started to flip jobs a lot faster, I think. But Reaper was such a unique company. I'll never regret signing on for Reaper. Oh, sorry. Weepy eyeballs must dry off eyeballs. Cannot see model. Usually my eyes are blurring because of allergies. So I guess this is just an exaggerated version. Nope, more mascara. Yeah, if I get smudgy eyeballs, then that'll be it. All right, so I've got this mix, and I'm going to start applying it on the side of the folds away from the light. So opposite of what I have over here. David was just complaining about an OSL paint job he saw on Instagram where and I've talked about this before, but a lot of people will do OSL and they'll paint the model as if it's under normal light, and then they'll just paint the OSL on it. And that's not really, like, it's actually not correct in most cases if you're going for realism. If you're going for stylism, you can do whatever you want. But it bothers David because he knows, like, essentially if you've got a model holding a torch and you paint the model as if it's in normal light, then what you're saying when you do this OSL is that the torch is brighter than the sun. And usually that's not actually how you're painting it. So it's, yeah, I mean, that's why people who do this put the models up against a black background. It like makes it look more right, but it's still not quite right. So yeah. Yeah, I remember when I joined Reaper, and I think it was Laszlo was kind of horrified at what they had me doing because he felt like they weren't utilizing like my painting talents as much. But they were utilizing all the other talents. And in time, I got to really appreciate that because it's a rare job, as all y'all know. It's a rare job where you can utilize a whole bunch of things you can do, right? Most jobs these days are really specialized, and maybe they pull on one, maybe two of your like strengths, right? Your talents, your ability, the things you do well. Reaper, I got to do so many different things because it was such a small company, relatively small company when I started it. You know, I mean, come on, I got to develop the Master Series Open with Ed. You know, we got to create Reapercon. Like, I was one of the people creating Reapercon, which is now a convention with over 1,000 attendees every year. it's just crazy. I got to write an army book. I got to, I got to paint a bunch of miniatures. I got to develop a paint line. I got to run a department. I got to do so many different things at Reaper. I got to go to conventions and represent. Um, you know, now I'm gonna cry again, Mr. Noma. Thumbs up. You're welcome. Yeah, and I don't mind doing it because of this, right? I know that Dave's probably not going to be ready to talk about it. I know that Ron isn't probably. And it's cool. I'll take it. I'll take the hit for the team. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, the puppy's also like not. If she keeps fussing, I'll put her critical role on. But if we ignore her, she should stop. Oh, okay. So. Oof. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, so I got to do a lot of things and use a lot of my talents. So you can see, as we come in, the warmth of this highlight, and this one's coming up cooler. And that's going to become more and more accentuated as we continue. And the pawpaw is going to use all of her tricks to try to dump stuff on the floor and make me come in there. Settle down, Keeks. Settle down. You got a long time yet. Yeah, if she gets too crazy, I'll put on her critical role. I have Kiki pictures. Where's a Kiki picture? She hears me say her name. Oh, there we go. We took some nice pictures. Here's a picture from yesterday. Yesterday was her 5-month birthday, guys. 5 months old. That's my Keeker, my Keekster. Last night is the first night I actually got to sleep through the night. I didn't take her out in the middle of the night, and she made it through fine. Yep. Yeah, she's getting grown up, isn't she? And then this is the funny. So this is Kiki in her bedtime crate. The pillow here is like folded up like 3 times, right? It's got one fold and then the second fold and then the bottom fold. She did this herself so that she could use it as a pillow. She folded her own pillow. This is the silly dog. She's such a silly dog. And I look down and there she is using it as a pillow. She is so funny. Funniest pawpaw. But yeah, I know, right? From, wait. We'll do the before and after. Okay. Before. That's a picture that David took, and I really love it. That's the before. And that's the after. There we go. 3 months apart, those pictures. She's super smart. Ridiculous smart. Oh, I have a nice, I have a good picture of her in the leaves, too. I was taking some fall pictures. And here's another one of her by her water dish. She's so grown up looking in this picture. Except I can't zoom in as well, Kiki. Yeah, my camera is not even giving us the good view. Oh, and then we gave her a bath this weekend, of course. And then it's even funnier. Oh, settle down. Let's see here. I think that's it. That's the Keeks photos, recent Keeks. You know what? Let me go and put on her critical role, guys, and that way she'll probably settle down for it, because it's so early in the stream yet, right? So, hold on. all uppity because today is our, we had 5 days of leisurely off time with the Keek, and now we're back to normal, except that she didn't get her middle of the night out last night, so she's like kind of like flibberty gibbet today. Yeah, she's really, really going to be very dark, I think, Reniko. One second, I need a little bit of moisturizer on my hands here. Yeah. So you have a range, Reniko. Kiki's very smart. I wouldn't say she's smarter than us, but she's she keeps up. She keeps up. She's definitely getting more adult brain cells as we go along, which is nice. All right. But yeah, Keekster's gonna be a very dark dog. She's I call her colors caramel and espresso. She's a caramel espresso dog. Alrighty, now let's get this really going on. So we've got that light color there, and I'm going to put one more layer of it on, but then I'm going to mix an even lighter color out of those. So we're going to pop this over, and we're going to get even more, make a very light, much more blue, much more pale. Yes. I'll pop a bit of water into that. Yeah, she didn't. I figured she would be pretty dark when she was a baby, because if you know what to look for, it's like if they're, even though she had lighter fur, all of the sable puppies do, but if they have dark feet tips, dark toes, and if they have a dark belly, like if their chest and belly are all black, then they're probably going to be a really dark dog. And Kiki had those. I don't know that she's going to be... Her brother is like a true bicolor. He's mostly black with tan points. Turgid. I think David would make fun of me if I did, since we have an espresso machine. So we're going to bring out, see, you can see now very much how this is much warmer and this is much cooler. And this is, that's what we're aiming for. And I do need to get a little bit of shadow up there. I feel like I need just a little bit of brown in here. Where's my brown liner? There it is. Hey, I got my Reaper order, guys, so I have all sorts of fun stuff to paint on stream for the foreseeable future. But I think when we're done with Mouse here, either with Mouse or Dragon, maybe we'll replace the Dragon Pokey tool with the cat and the Dragon cat and the Christmas tree. But I have to prep the kitty and Prime, obviously. So. Yeah, it'll be the kitty dragon. And then I've got some other non-holiday stuff. I don't think, 12 Days of Christmas is coming up. And maybe, I kind of wanted to paint like Christmas Eve and Christmas night for a long time. So I might end up getting those. Hey, Varl, 38 months. Wow, 29-month streak. That's crazy talk. Welcome to the stream, Varl. We're doing a little bit of tearful reminiscing today about Ed. But mostly, I think unless somebody says something else to make me cry again. Oh, the chubby hat wearer is the non-smart one. But he's so adorable and photogenic. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of dark in there. So I just want that fold to come out a little bit better there. This is quite a big fold here, but it's not in range of the torch because the ear blocks it. So this fold stays more or less dark, except the other side of it is going to be getting that ambient light. And I could bring a little ambient probably up on the other side of it just to give it some dimension. Yeah. Yeah, I hesitated because I didn't sleep well last night, and I was like, maybe I just shouldn't do the stream this morning, but then I decided I would like to do it. So I'm going to do a little bit of my cooler color. I'm going to bring a little bit over on this side, but not a lot. Just a little bit more definition on that. You're trying to do a cat dragon every year? Awesome. Yes, he was like Ed was my miniatures dad. that's what I felt like our relationship was like sometimes. He was my cool dad. Ed was the cool dad that encouraged you to do all the stupid crap because he figured you'd probably learn something from it and it probably wouldn't kill you. Good. Yeah, I probably need more cat dragons. I mean, certainly we could paint more on stream, right? All right, so I'm just going to bring up this cool highlight. Now, we don't want to bring up the cold highlight as much as it is on the metal here because the cloak is soft, right? It's going to have a much softer highlight. It's going to have a much duller highlight because it's not shiny. The more dull a surface is, the lower you can keep the highlight. We really just, in this one especially, because the shadows are so dark, you really don't need to bring it up very much for it to show up. So... yeah, probably. Well, it was a big it's a big difference for me. You guys probably don't know this, but my dad never approved of my career choice. My actual dad. And that's putting it a bit lightly. So Ed became kind of my my substitute dad who appreciated the cool crap I did. And it's funny because they were both accountants. All right, I think I've got that faded in pretty well. Going to blend that in a little bit with my original green. And get that kind of looking soft. Yeah. My mom did. I'm lucky to have a mom who really just wanted me to be happy. And so mom has always supported me as long as I, able to support myself and doing okay. She's always supported me in what I wanted to do, and my brother also. And Pete pretty much at one point said that he admired me for like just doing my own thing, like pretty much following the beat of my own drummer. So they're both proud of me. So I had at least half of my family. But yeah, so Ed was my cool dad, my cool dad who appreciated the miniatures community. Oh. All right, I think this is reading pretty nice and cool now. I think we're pretty good there. The tail's already reading really cool. I could put a little bit of a blue highlight on the tail. Just a tiny touch. Yeah. Well, and so many people would like you to assume that. Like so many that's the other like insidious thing, right? Is that sometimes, people just honestly don't believe that you can. Whether because they've been fed it or it's just something they've come to believe. But there are also people who would rather not see you do art because they wish they could do it and they never let themselves do it. And so there is a bit of that too you have to watch out for. Yeah, humans, right? Yeah, good, Kodiak. That's good. Like, if you are stuck in a job that you don't enjoy, like, it is always worth looking around. Like, you may think that there's not something out there for you, but you know what? Unless you look, you don't know, and you'd be surprised. Sometimes the universe conspires to actually give you what you need. All right, so there we go. So I think so now we've really got, see the cool metal, the cool green, all this is very cold in here. And then you turn it here and you've got a lot of warmth and you can really see the fire. And that's what's nice about doing this sort of treatment on a figure, is that you can really telegraph that, the coolness. Let me put the cold highlight in this eye. Well, except I need to like dry my eyeballs off again. But yeah, I've always kind of been that sort, though, Kodiak, that would just do whatever I wanted. I didn't see the point in doing something that I didn't like, so. All right, now let's get this. Gonna do a couple of little highlights there, and I'm gonna get some pure white out and do a cold highlight on that side too, on the eye. I mean, my life has not like been easy, and there was definitely a point in my life where I was just flat broke for a long time, chasing what I wanted to do. And there definitely were some not great decisions in there, but I ended up in the place I want to be. And it took a while. Sometimes it takes a while, right? It took a while for me to even think about and realize what I really wanted to be, Let's put this brighter highlight up here. There, now I've got glints in both eyes. Mice have dark little eyes. David is like, his eyes are so dark, and then we went and looked at pictures of mice, and he's like, oh. I'm like, yes, they have really dark eyes. And I'm going to see if I can make a little bit of teeth down here. A little bit of mouth. Yeah, it's never too late to reprogram your head a little. I mean, it gets harder as you get older to reprogram your head, but you have to be more insistent about it. You have to remind yourself a lot more. But you can always change. It's just that change as adults is a lot harder to affect because all of our neural pathways are all set in, right, at this point. So we have to really it's a little harder. It's quite a bit harder, but you can do it. probably the hardest part about affecting change is just figuring out like how to life hack yourself into it. Like, I'm like, what do I have to do to fool my head into believing that I'm actually still doing what it wants me to do? Just put a little bit of a tooth highlight there in his mouth. Yeah, bright oil drops is a good image. Stephen King knows what he's doing. Oh, that's right. We still need to do this little belt. Well, I can do that with the brown liner and our highlights. So I'm going to grab some brown liner, and I'm going to grab my blue-white, my pale blue here, and pop a bunch of it in there, kind of make a grayish brown, and we'll do a little bit of a highlight. Yeah. I'm not, yeah. And you know, if there's nothing you can do there, there's nothing to be done except try to encourage, like the kids you know, to do their own thing. But it's hard. Like there's a lot of pressure on kids nowadays. A lot of pressure. A lot more pressure than I remember being under when I was in school. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of gray highlighting here just to bring it. A lot of kids really do love art. And now art is not the easiest, thing to do for a living. Never believe that. I mean, I do relatively well, but I'm still not making a ton of money doing this, guys. But, you know, I get by. I get by. And I get to do what I love to do. There we go. So a little bit of light on this side. Just a little bit to show that we paid attention. Now we do have a bit of that green cloak back there, so I do want to bring that out. But yeah, probably when I quit my corporate job to go and be a miniature painter back in the day, I was surprised. I thought most of my coworkers would tell me that I was crazy. Because I worked for Equifax. It was a big old credit bureau. But to my surprise, most of my coworkers, what they told me, not that they thought I was crazy, but that they were actually jealous. That they wanted to quit and do what they really wanted to do. But they just didn't believe they could. Or they had a lot of people depending on them and they didn't feel like it was responsible of them. Which is fair. You gotta do you. But sometimes you can find a way to do both. Yeah, that's my mom's attitude. Tristoma is do what you want to do to make you happy. I mean, her caveat is as long as you can take good care of yourself doing it. Which is a fair caveat. I can see that. I believe in it. That was always her concern, was that I was going to end up on a street corner in California reading tarot cards for people. I believe that was one of her statements, in fact, when I moved to California, was don't end up on a street corner reading tarot cards now. Oh, we're crooked. Beyond crooked. There we are. Progress. I mean, Patreon helps with that, to be honest, Cornico. Because, you know, as more and more people get used to paying for artistic content and supporting the artists they love, it gets normalized, right? And then it becomes like something that people start to realize is a thing, right? So there, we've got a little bit of a cool highlight there. So I really love the sword, actually. I think the sword might be my favorite part, where it's shifting because the fire is just enough to hit the tip. So now we'll do the flagstones. We probably can finish this figure today. I'll eventually put him on a base and do a sculpting. But we've done so much flagstone sculpting lately, I don't feel like I need to do that one on stream. Patreon is awesome, and his one is awesome. Thank you so much, Kurtiko. Yep. It's also my main form of income. But that's not why it's awesome. It's awesome because we've been doing it for, oh my God, almost, is it 4 years? It's coming up on 4 years, guys. Almost 4 years. And there is a lot of content on there. So much so that I'm now going back and redoing some of the topics I did first because I think I can teach them better now. So yeah. It's a lot. And hey, I've got like really, my terms are really searchable. So when you come in, like that's what I want, is I want this big archive on my Patreon of just this huge archive of topics. And I love it when people give me a topic that I haven't covered yet. Enough. Because then I can put that into. But my goal is that, like, when you come to my Patreon, you should be able to type in a keyword that you need and find it, right? And find something about it on the Patreon really easily. So I take pains to keyword all of my content so that they're easy to search. Oh, cool! Working at the zoo. That's really cool, Chef. Yeah, that is awesome sauce. Yeah, Patreon's a game changer. Like, and for all the people that are grouse about Patreon and think it could be better, it's like when before Patreon there was nothing. So I think Patreon does a really good job personally. Alrighty, so yeah, now let's do some stones. So now I have to look at the torch and I have to see what it's going to hit. So it's going to actually spread quite a bit over this way. Like I can see that little rock and I can see the torch. So I'm thinking it's going to hit kind of like a cone like that. It's going to cut off and the cool light source is going to be on the back here. And the cool light source is going to be more over here because the ear and the cloak are going to block. See, they cut off the base. There's a little bit here. There's a little nook right here. And this is why I like to look at it this way. So I will grab a little bit of my, hold on. I've got a little bit of white here. Let me refresh it and use it. Cool, Kodiak. All right, so let's look at this. So see right where the fire starts to come out over this stone. So it's going to be here. All right, so I painted that. So that's where the fire is going to be, is this area. That's almost precisely right there. Yeah. Okay, good. So that's where the fire is going to be. And otherwise the fire is all the way around here. It's not going to be underneath, but it's going to be all the way out to those rocks. So all the way back to here. And there are a couple different ways to do this. And one of them is to do underpainting with that white like I am here. Another is that you can just bring up the orange. Or you can do kind of a combo of the two. So, Kiki, settle down. I need explosion orange. Oh, that's the wrong orange. Wrong orange. Got lots of oranges here. Tons of oranges. So much. Explosion. There we go. So we're using candlelight and explosion for our light sourcing. So that's explosion. I should have used torchlight, but I'm using candlelight, and it's actually really close to torchlight, so. Yeah, that's really cool, Chef. It's neat. All right, I am going to mix up some of my warm tone here, my highlight color. believe I was doing a three drops of torchlight or close. And then I was putting in a little bit of explosion, or sorry, candlelight. Putting a little bit of explosion in there and then a drop of white, 1 or 2 drops of white. Yeah, Kiki's fussy today because she's not, again, it's been several days since she's had this routine. She's been kind of spoiled, having us both home. But now we're back to the normal. Back to the normal, Keeks. Squeaky Kiki today. That's what I'm saying. You got 20 more minutes, so settle down. That's why she's been so fussy. She's got to settle. I could trust her to be in here, but I can't. Not yet. Maybe in another month. Yeah, we cannot free the Kiki unless you want her bouncing on my head during the stream. She needs to learn. She can't always be here. All right, so I'm mixing up this very orangey light color. And I'm going to probably keep it this dark. I'm not going to add a lot of white to it. I added like 1 drop. Because the light, remember, light dims exponentially as it moves away from its light source. And if you're already dealing with a light source that's fairly dim, like this torch, you are going to see the light fall off very quickly. It might pull in more views, right? But it'd be very distracting. So here's our mouse. And if I thin down this yellow, then I can kind of glaze it onto the stones. So that it's just a little bit visible. See it? Oh my, we're being very, very, very petulant, our little pupper. I'm going to put a strongest highlight on the side of the stone that faces the torchlight. And I'm going to try to fade it out. I need to add a little more white, I think. If you do it this way, if you want it strong and fast, then do the white underpainting and then put this color over the top of it. If you want a more subtle, where you build it up slowly, then do it this way and glaze it directly over the gray. Or layer it, I should say. So I can make it a little brighter. Now it's quite bright on the foot because that's metal. So I don't want it to be that bright here on the stones. But I am going to color this entire stone right up to that foot to show that the light is there. And I'll have it fall off a bit more as it moves out. I won't extend it over the entire surface. I won't make it quite as strong. So getting that in there just to bring these out. A little bit on the rock here. And pretty much this is the last stone on this side that this light's going to be on. And then we'll go to the cold stuff. But you can see that's kind of a neat effect with the warm color on the stones. Yeah, we've definitely got a little brat in the other room. That's all right. I always like the look of like an orange-yellow glaze like over the stonework. I always think it yellowy oranges, and oranges in general look pretty good over gray to bring up that suggestion. Oh yeah, like I said, very much a brat right now. We're back to our old routine, but she would much rather have it, because when it's a day off, I sit in there with her. I sit and I work on my writing usually. Writing or something else that I need to work on. So she is definitely a little spoiled dog during those days. And she would much rather be with me. Bringing in that warmth back here a bit. Oh. And remember, it goes out to here. Now with that white I laid down, that's going to be very bright, so I need to essentially knock that back a bit. Knock that down so that I can bring it over again. I know where it is, so. Yeah, this is a cool Mousling. I don't know, I might sell this one on my Patreon. It's been a while since I put up a figure for sale. I really like him, and he'd be a good reference for somebody. Plus, he's just so cool. So maybe Ron doesn't get this one. Maybe one of you guys, maybe one of my patrons gets this one. Oh yeah. AC busted. Yuck. The opposite of Kuroniko's saga with no heat. Gonna bring up the yellow on these stones pretty decently. Alright, I'm going to just check my light real quick. That's about right. I need it a little bit further in, I think. Now I do want to try to bring it up a little stronger the closer it is, remember. And this is where you can mix your stylistic and your realistic takes on things, right? Is if you want to define the stones more, you can bring it up maybe a little bit more than you would actually see light. But I really like to see the light stronger and then moving away, see it fading out. You get more of that correct effect of the OSL that way. So hello, Pendrake. You did hear about Ed, correct, Pendrake? I don't know what social media you consume. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a portable AC for our bedroom. Almost thawed out. Almost meeting time? Yeah. Thanks for coming, Crowley. All right, so let's get some stronger highlights here. so that we can have them more obviously fade as they move away. So bring that there, and then we'll just do a little touch. Okay. All right, just checking. I want all the regulars, wanted to make sure all the regulars knew. We talked about it a lot earlier in the stream. So just doing the edges here, giving those a little more light. Yeah, it's an understatement. And bring in a little bit more yellow texture, a little bit of stippling. Now the stones are really coming out. Cool. Yeah, just wanted to make sure. Trying to make sure everybody knows. Because some people don't go on the socials. So we've got that torchlight coming in nicely on that side and that side. And then we'll put a little bit of blue light on this side. Mix up my highlight color here. My cool blue, purpley blue. And that's going to be the opposite end. So the highlight's coming from the opposite direction on this side. That's a little bit strong, so I'm going to thin it down a little. If I had my carbon gray open, I could just wet blend, but I don't, so I'm going to layer, and that means my paint needs to be thinned more. Ooh. Oh, we found, I had a great idea finally, guys, about what to paint my brother for Christmas. Oh, and David set up our 3D printer over the weekend. But he's in the process of slowly like integrating how to use it, so he's not so I'm going to leave a bit of shadow right here, by the way, between the edges of the torchlight and where the cool color comes in. You'll see this if you ever look at a photograph of someone with warm light on one side of their face and cool light on the other side, or whatever color light, if you've got different colors of light, you will see a shadow line between the two. And it's a natural occurrence, so we need to make sure to keep that shadow, that neutral zone here between these two. It was the Elegoo, is it the Saturn 2? It's the new one. It's the new shiny. New shiny, Bryce. Thanks, Sturgeon. But yeah, so we asked for recommendations on my Patreon Discord, and David decided to get the new shiny. So we finally had time. I cleaned the garage so he could set it up on the table, and he spent the weekend kind of perusing like the different things he would need and how to set it up and how to do a first print and everything. And he got himself some isopropyl, and he's got, his various tools and stuff. And so we'll probably get to that, maybe not this week, because honestly, Dragonflight comes out for World of Warcraft, and we all know David is going to be playing that, and I have agreed to play it with him because I love him. So we will be distracted, but I think maybe this coming weekend we can maybe give the 3D printer a run, do the test print, see, experiment with curing and washing and curing and all the rest of it, and begin our 3D printer journey. Although I still hold the fact that, because he's like, we're not early adopters, and I'm like, compared to the rest of the world, I think we are. Like in the miniatures community, we are not early adopters. But he was complaining about how there's like, you know, it's hard to find like some information on the internet. And I'm like, that's welcome to being an early adopter, hun. And he's like, we're not. And it's like, well, maybe in the miniatures community we're not, or in some other like parts communities we're not. But against the panorama of the rest of the world, we are definitely early adopters. Yeah, we really are more interested in the basing bits than we are the minis, Grand Oracle. We would like to be able to print some of that stuff. Yeah, the ventilation does concern me with the resin printing, but we put it in the garage so we can open up the garage door. And we also have 2 big windows in there, so yeah, Everlina. David likes to raid. He's in a raiding guild with people he really, really likes. And mostly it's just Overwatch 2 came out in early October, and he's been playing Overwatch 2 with me, so now I'm going to play WoW with him. It's our thing. It's our couples thing. So there we go, guys. Now we got a cold and a warm. Warm and cold. Cold, 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 cold. Warm, 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 warm. Ta-da! Do, 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 do. Oh, we're not gonna... The link didn't come through anyway, Grand Oracle, so I'm safe. Oh, look, guys, we got a mouse. Mouse! Meese! Yeah, I think he's one of my favorites that I've painted at all recently. I really love the sword. I love the light sourcing and how it came out. Especially love the light sourcing on the side, like the ear there and everything. Love the light sourcing on the side of his head there. I really enjoy OSL when I can do it like realistically. I really love the appearance of it. I love the warmth. So yeah, I think I'll put this guy on a little base and do a little bit of extra sculpting to give him some extra flagstones and paint those up. And yeah, maybe we'll for December we'll put up a mini for sale on my Patreon just for fun. And I usually don't charge, like I don't start them very, very high comparatively speaking to what I usually charge. So yeah, he's an adventurer who has just noticed an oncoming monster. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, I think he turned out super. I'm very happy with him. Very, very happy. So yeah, so watch for that in December. And unless like holidays are hard times for money, so I might wait till January. But yeah, we'll put this guy up for sale, I think. Sorry, Ron. Ron doesn't get him. I'm sure he's already got one painted by Rhonda or something anyway. He probably would still sulk at me, though. All right, we have actually completed, amidst many Kiki disruptions, we have completed both the stream and the miniature. So yeah, we'll see. We're almost done with Dragon Pokey Tool. Also, like we have to do the horns, and that's pretty much it. Maybe a bit of the side of the face over here. But, so Dragon Pokey Tool is the other one we're really close to being done with, and I'll probably prep the cat dragon today, the Christmas tree cat dragon, and we'll sub in. Maybe we'll start it. I expect us to finish. Tuesday is Fishy, so tomorrow is Fishy, so we're back to Fishy and his copper and stuff, because we did the staff last time and I really like it. But then the day after, so Wednesday is Dragon Pokey Tool Day, and we'll probably finish it up like halfway through the stream, and we can start on Cat with Christmas Tree. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Fuzzy Kitty. Yeah, it's good. It's good to talk to you all about Ed. Yeah, so tomorrow is Fishy. Yeah, of course. Hey, processing is what it's all about, guys. Go and hug your loved ones and your animals. Do something nice for the world. Remember that Ed would have wanted you if you want to donate something or to help out, then make a donation to your local animal shelter in Ed's name. Yup. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. All right, we will make it through. We will get through. We'll just although I'm a little scared to imagine the "What would Ed do" slogan that's gonna come around, right? What would Ed do? We probably don't want to do that. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye bye.